John Santo's The Radio on Strong Island Radio Network. And here's your host, John Santo. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the radio. This is John Santo, and we're not in the studio yet. We're still going remote. And but that was the great Donna Summer, who is the title theme song to our show, The Radio. And just a reminder, The Radio is the #1 radio show on this time slot on this radio channel on Mondays. So no other show even comes close. Well, I am very happy. It took me weeks to get him. This is episode 27. We've been trying to get Carlo since episode 2. And Carlo's I said the name. I'm not supposed to say the name.
That's
of my
right.
special guest co-host. We've been trying to get this guy for a long time, but with contracts and with agents and back and forth. And he's a way better radio host than I am. Way better. So but we're very lucky. Please welcome my special guest co-host,
Carlo Wild Thing Bellario.
Welcome, Carlo.
It's a pleasure, buddy. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you. I had a lot of fun the other day when we were interviewing Tim Tebow with John LaRocchia.
It was great. I'm not a big baseball guy, so that's why I've recruited you two, especially since you're Mets gurus. You know what I'm saying? So
we know.
I needed when it comes to football, I can hold my own. When it comes to baseball, I said I got to get John and John.
Well, I don't want to mention it during our interview with Tim, but I don't really follow college football that closely. My son is a Clemson Tigers fan since he was 3 or 4 because he likes the paw. He thought the paw on their helmet was a dog paw.
Favorite college team.
That's the college team, right, that we follow. But so I don't know a lot about college football, so I didn't know about Tim Tebow in college. The first time I saw Tim Tebow was in, I guess, 2011. He was playing the Jets. And I was
a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yes. But I didn't,
and a #1 draft pick.
And he was a top draft pick. But I forgot. I wasn't following him that closely. Then I see him versus the Jets. Yeah. And he's doing all these maneuvers. I'm like, is this guy an acrobat or a quarterback? What the hell's he doing to the Jets?
I hated him because he beat the Steelers in the playoffs because I'm a Steelers fan. So. But I've loved the Clemson Tigers ever since I was in high school, actually, when the Fridge played for them.
Oh, yeah.
William Perry. That's going back.
I'm
dating myself. Yeah.
Well, my son, we have the hats, like we wear the hat on the day. It's actually nice because we get to watch football another day. But, so then when Tebow came to the Jets, I was like, wow, I hope this guy could do, for the Jets what he did for Denver. But
I
nice
think he
guy.
should have stayed in football and not transferred over.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You never know.
Yes.
He was very popular at spring training. Everybody, it was very nice. I saw him talking to people, saying hello. He was a very nice guy. I like to meet the players. Like Dom Smith is very nice. I have a great picture with Dom Smith smiling at me, signing my ball. It's nice to meet the people, in person.
You go every year, John, or?
No, I've only been twice. I went in 2015, and then I went this year.
Yeah,
that's
something I've never done. Yeah, that and the Super Bowl I got to do.
Yeah, I never did the Super Bowl. I was a consultant for MetLife when the Super Bowl was here in MetLife Stadium, and I could have gone but I was like, what do I want to go there for?
Are you nuts? That's like the keys if it can't. What's wrong with you?
I have no. You know what? Now, if it was in Miami or somewhere, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a game which I really don't care about because it's not the Jets.
None of your teams are in it, right?
None of my teams are in it. I'm going to freeze my ass off, pay a lot of money for the privilege, and then have to get divorced. So it's not worth it. Like, I will divorce my wife if she won't let me go to a Giants Super Bowl or a Jets Super Bowl or a Mets World Series. That's worth getting divorced in. Yeah. Not a game where I really don't, 2 weeks later, unless I won money or lost money, I don't care.
When we had when Tim Tebow was on, and I said, "Go get your son," and it's funny because you're sitting in front of the camera and you're talking. You're like, "Michael, come over here and meet Tim Tebow." And I'm like, "Well, John, why don't you move out of the way?" Like, you didn't even want to get out of the way of the camera, so.
I have very bad camera awareness with the phone. I can't see it. The screen is this big.
All you seen was John's son, like the little head over his shoulder. I'm like, John, get out of the way.
Well, that's good. That's why you need a director. So you know how to direct pictures. I'm not a good director.
I'm a schmo. I'm a half-ass comic that likes to do radio. That's my extent. I just got lucky doing this. I enjoy it. and it's so far it's been pretty good. So I'm on a ride.
Well, you get the big names. You had Donna Mills the other night. I was watching that the whole thing.
Had I known, because I call the other guy who falls asleep on me when he's supposed to call into my show, and I figured I'd bring him in. Had I known you had any interest, you would have been the first one I called. I didn't even think that that you would even admit you watched Knots Landing.
I used to Donna Mills was back then.
Yeah,
she was like the hottest. Yeah. Oh, everybody loved Donna Mills back then.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't see the one we did the week before with the ladies of the 80s.
Which? Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, I had Tawny Katane, from the White Snake video. Remember her?
Oh my! Of course, everybody knows who Tawny
Diane
Katane
Franklin from Last American Virgin, and Claudia Wells from Back to the Future. Yeah, it's got like 3,000 hits already.
I gotta watch it in rerun. I can't believe that.
We had them on for an hour and 45. They're all good friends of mine, though. I've made friends over the years, so that's the whole key. I mean, that's publicists are a nightmare to deal with. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, because they're some of them are. I could set up an interview in 2 emails. Other ones, you'll take 15 emails, and then they'll say,
right.
"Oh, well, that person's not available." Then you want to go over there and hit them with like a frying pan.
Right.
So
my publicist John Carlo is very, very good. That's why I've been with John Carlo for so long. He is fantastic.
Yeah.
And he is really wonderful.
You crack me up. I can't even keep a straight face when I'm
wait, John Carlo, could you come on? Can you just come on real quick? Hello, Carlo. This is John Carlo. And I want to thank you for coming on the radios.
The radios.
And this is beautiful channels. On the Strong Islands. Wonderful. And Carlo, you're the best. You're way better than my client. I should represent you. Because John Santo is crap compared to you. You'll get the biggest names on your shows.
There's no secret. I got lucky in the beginning because what I wanted to do with this show was I wanted to reach our servicemen and women. So I scoured the internet and looking for ways that I can get this show heard. So I found the American Forces Network, which is a cable and a radio channel. And I reached out for them and I said, listen, I have some content I want to give you. I just want to, and I'm not looking for any money. If something down the road arises where I pick up advertisement, I could, I would be happy to do that, but I just want to entertain the truth. So he said, send me a couple of shows. And then he came back, he said, start sending me everything. So what I do is when I do the show, I just upload it and it's so far so good. So in some small way, I'm entertaining the troops.
And that's awesome. And I mean, they love any kind of content like that they can get. And you get really powerful shows together. American Forces Network, you said. So why don't you tell everybody you just became a network?
Oh, yeah. Well, I started the radio show I did was called the Animal House Radio Show, named after my favorite movie. I put together, actually, you know what that stemmed from the show? Remember when I got into that nonsense, John, with the BB gun?
I do.
We'll get into that if you want later, but I got into some trouble, legal trouble. I was totally innocent. So a guy that owns another network said, listen, why don't you come do a show and whatever money you bring in, you keep to help with your cause. So it worked out. I brought Paul Veneer in, I brought my girl in, and it was like 5 or 6 of us. And it worked. It started working. And then as the show grew in popularity, I got bigger and bigger guests. And once you say you have one person, then it's just the credibility keeps adding up. And then I had
snowballs,
I had a good relationship with a lot of the publicists. And once you get in good with one, he or she will feed you everybody they got. They'll start handing you all their clients. So then, and it's just no secret,
Right. Well, they also represent a lot of people. Sometimes it's more than one. Like any agent, they'll have multiple clients.
Yeah.
Like I have the same agent as Giada, the cooking. Giada De Laurentiis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So when she got divorced, she kept calling me for dates, and it was like ridiculous. And we had the same publicist, so it's like I couldn't. I told her I'm married, 100 times.
Oh my!
But she kept calling. I'm like,
kept stirring the pot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's like a major star, but some women like impressionists. It's weird.
A cougar too, right? She's got to be
a little. She's like, we're around the same age, roughly.
Oh, I
I'm a
thought she was
lot younger than I look. Older
she,
than I, well, whatever.
she might have to take her teeth out.
But yeah, so that's like I deal with that kind of stuff, like all the time. So it's like whatever. I'm sure you do too. The groupies and the it's just part of it,
Yeah, not so much anymore, but back in the day, boy, I lived like a rock star. Oh boy, those were the days. I'm gonna write a book one day.
You should write a book.
So I tell you what, though, John, I always enjoyed working with you because you were always unique. You know what I'm saying? You always had that. You weren't just an impressionist. You brought it to life. Some people just go, they're in a bar and they start drinking with people and they do half-ass impressions. But you, I mean, you bring it to a whole nother level. That's why I always enjoyed working with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, my Tony Soprano impression, there was a comedian that critiqued it. The guy was like and I'm always nice to the new comics, but this guy was like a 3-month open micer. And he's like, John, your Tony Soprano voice is there, but you're not like embracing and becoming the character. Right. So I threw him in the trunk of my car.
There you go.
And I drove him down the shore.
And
I said, how does it sound now? How does the voice sound from the trunk?
How do you pick your characters? Do you just people that you admire or characters that you like, or?
Yeah, well, it's like, I do, the presidents I've been doing since Ronald Reagan. So every time there's a new president, I do the president. So I do all those guys. And then, like The Sopranos was a big show of mine. So I just started doing those voices. Like I do Bobby Bacala, Silvio Dante, Paulie Walnuts, and Tony Soprano. I'm working on a Johnny Sack because I'm doing a Sesame Street Sopranos bit. Again, I did it. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. You ever do Christopher?
I couldn't get him down. I just started doing him regularly. Mike Francesa. Do you listen to Mike Francesa on the Fan?
Yeah.
So Carlo is one of the top comics in New Jersey. I mean, he's totally up there, and he's a terrific radio host. I mean, if you haven't heard the show, then I don't know what you're listening to because you got to listen to Carlo. He's fantastic.
I like Christopher Russo a lot better.
I don't know who that is.
Mike Francesa. Mike and the Mad Dog.
Oh, the Mad Dog Russo. Oh, that guy, yeah. I always say Mad Dog. I keep forgetting his name is Chris. Yeah. I really didn't listen to Francesa back then, I don't think. I never really got into the Mad Dog part. I've always listened to Francesa. It was just Francesa.
Well, out of all your sports impressions, who's the one that you think is your best that you have?
Well, so Francesa is my only real sports one, right? I was doing Chris Collinsworth. You know Chris Collinsworth from Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
So I was working on him for a little bit, but nobody really liked it. And so, but I do Al Pacino. Like when I go to a baseball game and the Mets hit a home run, I'll do Pacino going, that ball is gone. Bye-bye. Bam. I do. Or I'll do like great. Schwarzenegger, like the ball is hit deep to center field. It's got a chance. It's out of there. It's totally gone.
But, it takes a couple of months for you to study them, right?
It takes, some take, longer. Like Trump took me a long time.
Yeah.
Trump took me, and Rich Walker was really like my Yoda. He trained me how to do Trump. Like I worked with him in a car ride up to a gig, and I refined it. And it took me 6 months to make it decent, a year to make it where it is now. And we just won the Emmy for that Make Comedians Great Again documentary that was online.
Oh wow, that's great! I didn't.
Yeah, April 26th. Yeah, New York Emmys. It won the producer, great producer. He won it, and Jung is the producer of that piece, and he followed two guys that just do Trump, and then he followed me around doing comedy shows, Long Island Comedy Festival, Laughter Saves Lives. And he saw me doing Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Reagan. And they put all of them into the, I was doing Bernie Sanders. So we put.
Uh-oh, he didn't pay his bill. You froze up on me, John? Hello?
Yep, looks like he froze up. All right, hang in there. Hang in there. Let's see if we can
no problem.
get him back.
It happens all the time, believe me.
Yeah. Better to do it from a computer than a phone, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the iPhone.
How come you don't do video?
He doesn't want to do video, just audio.
Oh, okay.
All right, so he's going to come back in. We're still airing, so just hang in there 1 second, everybody. We'll get John right back.
We'll be back after these commercial messages.
You have something you wanna plug, Carlo? Anything you're working on? You just want to kind of take?
Yeah,
up
actually, I do a
seconds?
weekly radio show. We're doing everything remotely now under the circumstances. It's called the Animal House Radio Show, and it can be found on Facebook. I recently started the network, Animal House Radio, which internet network, and we're going to be looking for a lot of content, music. Anybody that wants to do a talk show on there, my rates are very, very affordable, especially for comics, as low as $20 a week to do a 2-hour show, up to 2 hours. And that's it. Any music, rock, pop, anything. And a friend that's a musician that wants to send me my stuff, you can send it to Animal House or Radio Network at gmail.com. Just give me permission to air it. And, here's my thing. Share my station with your friends, and we'll share your music with the world. That's how I look at it.
Sounds good. All right,
What did you guys talk about when I wasn't here?
Well, we talked about how we lost you through your poor technology choice.
Horrible, despicable choice.
Then I just asked Carlo to plug anything he might want to do. So you came back in as he was finishing up. So we're good to go. Take it away.
Yeah, I did it shamelessly.
Is he frozen again? Oh my God.
Oh my God, I gotta love it. This is radio, folks. This is real life, folks.
Yeah. Wow.
But if you go on the Animal House Radio page on Facebook, go to the video section, you'll see all the new content we've been putting up. I've had an interview with Willie Robertson, Tim Tebow, ladies of the 80s, Tristan Mays from MacGyver. Have you ever watched the new reboot of MacGyver, Tristan Mays? Oh my God, she is phenomenal. Who else? David James Elliott. I mean, the list goes on and on. I just haven't had a chance to put a lot of the stuff up. Larry the Cable Guy, Danny Trejo, who plays Machete. So all those great interviews are on our page there, video, because we were putting out a lot of the stuff we're doing in honor of the frontline workers. We did a special tribute to the essential workers with Alyssa Milano. So there's a lot of good stuff over there. Like the page, and we need to get the page likes up if you want.
Okay. And they can contact you through there. They can send you a message for more info.
Yeah, they can message me at animalhouseradionetwork@gmail.com, or they can just inbox me on the Facebook, Animal House Radio. Especially, like I said, give me all the music you want. Tell all your friends if you got a young artist, male, female, anything. Groups, bands, we want them all.
Okay. And the Facebook doesn't give you an issue with the music sometimes?
No, because the show I do is the video stream, but the radio station is going to be just a stream, so the music can stream, and plus I pay the copyrights and everything. Okay, gotcha. So I air signed artists and unsigned artists, but we want all the new guys. We want to get them out there and get the word out for them.
Okay. Where do you operate out from? Where's your home base?
I'm in the Jersey Shore with Snooki.
All right.
Yeah. How's that? I heard that's a really nice studio. I wish you guys would open one up in New Jersey because they got nothing out there. I had to do this in my garage.
Yeah, I hear you.
What happens in the garage stays in the garage.
That's true. Well, that's how I started. I started in the... wasn't actually a basement. It's just a ground floor, studio. Right. And I did music my whole life, and I kind of just started doing radio like around 15 years ago, to be honest with you. Yeah, so been doing it a long time out of the house, and then eventually just got too much for the household,
Yeah.
So
I actually went to school for this when I was younger, in like the early 80s. I went to a place, it's not even there anymore. It was in Manhattan called Center for the Media Arts.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, CMA. I went there and I got the radio bug, and I interned at a lot of great radio stations: WNEWAM, WYNY, CBS. I did a lot. I got to meet Ray Rossi and a bunch of other people. So, and then I, for some reason, I just took a left turn into comedy. But I always, kept that passion for the radio, and everybody's saying, "Oh, why don't you do more radio? Why don't you do more radio?" So I started one show a while back, and then I had issues with the guy that I was doing the show with, and I just walked away. I said, "You know what? You can have the whole thing." And then I turned around and created Animal House Radio, which is 70 times better than what I did before. So the joke's on him.
Gotcha. All right, so John just texted me. He lost internet. Have no idea if I'll be able to get back on.
Oh my God,
John, did you pay your Verizon bill or your Optimum? What's going on over there? All right, we'll give him a couple more minutes if we can't get him back on.
Yeah.
But how long have you been doing comedy then?
97, 2007. I started in 87.
Okay.
So I'm doing it a long time.
Who's some of the bigger people that you've had the opportunity to work with over the years?
I've met so many of my colleagues, but the two that I had the most fun working with, I got to open for Don Rickles. And when I first met him in the dressing room, I actually knelt at his feet and cried. And him being the quintessential Don Rickles, and said, "Get up! You're getting water all over my shoes." But he was such a sweetheart. And then Joan Rivers was great too. So
and you think like Don Rickles, could someone like that get away with that these days? No, right? Though his humor just
he probably could, because he's been doing it so long.
Yeah, but exactly, somebody new could never come out like that now, right?
You can't do that stuff anymore, because there's too many thin-skinned people, too many sensitive people. They could never make All in the Family now if they tried to air that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Forget about it. I think it had its time, unfortunately, and
Yeah, I think Jerry Seinfeld even said that he don't think that he could have even got Seinfeld on today, like he did, 20 years ago or whatever it was,
Somewhere along the way, people just got overly sensitized about little things that in the 80s, when we used to call somebody, if you said, "Hey, what are you, a fag," or this and that, any other thing, and they would laugh and let it roll off their shoulders. They didn't get offended by it. People came to comedy clubs to laugh. Comedy was booming back then. Nowadays it's a struggle. I feel I'm actually kind of worried for my art, my craft, because I just did an interview with Larry the Cable Guy, and he says, the ones who are going to survive this virus are the guys that hustle, to make a living in comedy. He said if they don't hustle, they're not going to make any money, and they got to start supporting the comedy clubs. Like he said, I'm going to go over to Omaha in Nebraska, because he lives in Nebraska, and he says I'll do like 6 months worth of shows for free just to get the people back in the door. And if we don't all do that, I'm not saying that everybody has to work for free, but you know what I'm saying? Work with people, and then let the numbers go back up, and then you can start getting your price again. Because I've said this before, every comic's going to be for sale coming out of this pandemic.
Yeah. All right. So we have a caller. It's the host, John Santo. He's on the line. John, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Oh my
All right.
God.
So listen, I can't run Zoom and Skype at the same time, so you're not gonna be able to call in. Carlo, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him call you and just kind of put it on speaker, and get him on the mic, because I can't have my phone on there. So John, can you call him right now?
I'll call Carlo, and then what do you want to do? Call the studio?
No, he's gonna just
I'll put him on speaker.
Yeah, exactly. So just call him. Hang out with me. Call him.
Call Carlo. I got you.
All right. And yeah, just kind of like put it up to the mic. I don't know.
Thank God we ain't on video.
Exactly.
This is too funny.
This
John.
is. At least we're able to keep it going. So.
All right, you there, John?
I'm here.
All right. And can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right, so you sound pretty good too. John, only you this would happen to. Did
Oh
you?
my God, my whole internet went down, and it's going through like the reboot thing now, where it's going through that. And you go on Cablevision, right, and to see if there's an outage. All they need to do on a simple mobile website is just have a place for you to go. Right? They want you to log into your account, hover over this thing to see if there's an outage. Meanwhile, you have limited bandwidth because your internet is out. Just have a text. All I need to know is if my town, in plain black and white text, is in an outage area. That's all I need to know. I don't need to download anything, go onto a chat, speak to somebody. Just tell me right there. Just everybody goes in. All the towns are listed.
Oh my God, that's too funny. Well, we've had issues here. Yeah.
I don't need all the graphics. Like it's like when you're trying to download the score of a game and you're in a crappy cellular area. You got to download the edge. Just give me two numbers.
Oh, I tried to call my cable provider. I can't even get to. They keep rerouting me. They don't want me to talk to a live person.
I don't. I just want to see what the score is.
That's crazy.
Mets 9, Washington 3. That's what I want to see.
I've been having fun talking to your engineer, so he's pretty cool.
Well, Bobby's fantastic. Bobby's absolutely fantastic. Bobby's the producer, engineer, does everything. Bobby's unbelievable.
Yeah. You know what I would like to see you do, John? I'm going to give you an assignment now for the next time I talk to you. I want to see if you can pull off Willie Robertson.
I don't know who that is.
He was on the TV show Duck Dynasty.
Oh, I never saw that episode.
Well, you're going to have to start watching that show because he's from Louisiana, so that'll give you a little hint.
Oh, that'll give you some stuff to learn. The only thing I know about Duck Dynasty is that they have beards.
Yeah,
and
well,
there was a guy who was taking his sweet ass time at the store, and he was like doing all that, and I'm like, stop! There's a line of people here. So I snap my fingers like Polly Walnuts, and I go, "Hey, Duck Dynasty over there. Let's move the line, huh?"
Oh my God, we were talking about comedy. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to take a long time for this to come back. I don't see it bouncing back like a rubber band.
What do you mean?
I just it's going to take a while for people to come back into the because we were having a hard time getting people in the door as it is, because everybody's crying the blues. They got money, they don't have money, and this and that, and and like I was telling your producer, I was talking to Larry, the cable guy. He says the people who are going to make money are the people that hustle in this business, and if you don't hustle, you're not going to, and you got to. You got to be willing to, if you really love what you do, you got to be willing to work with people. Like he's going to go over to Omaha and start doing free shows for the local comedy club to get them, to help them, because they're almost closing the doors. So, I mean, not saying that everybody should work for free, but, meet somebody halfway. If you really love what you do, everybody's got bills to pay. They got to get paid, but at least say, hey, look, I want to come in. This is what I could do, and or else everything's gonna fold up. I hope not, but that's the way I see it. I don't know.
Well, I heard a scary stat on WFAN yesterday. The guy who owns, right across from Empire State Building.
Gotham?
No. It's a restaurant bar. They have all the baseballs and cubes there. I signed the ball for them.
You got me on that one when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, no, it's a bar. I can't. Foley's.
Oh, okay. Right.
On 33rd Street side, and the guy was on the fan yesterday, and he said that right now 62% of all restaurants are independently owned. He goes, you're going to see that number go down to 40% as the chains take over, because 80% of independently owned restaurants are going to be out of business by Christmas if they don't reopen, or if the landlords, force them to pay the rent for the months that they weren't even open.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's going to be a really bad situation. Now, when you think about how that affects the entire business system, when you think about all the people in Manhattan that are going to restaurants, if those businesses close, where are people going to get lunch when they go to work? Things like that, you're going to just see a whole dynamic change.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that
all those restaurants going out of business.
Yeah,
and then it's just gonna become more corporate, more chains, more less control over what you eat, and that's gonna be bad. But
yeah.
I don't like in terms of all these things that are going on in terms of like if I owned a restaurant, I'd open up 100% capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
I would, because the governments can't enforce anything anymore.
Yeah, what are they going to do? I mean,
I would open up for whoever wanted to come in and do it, safely. Put plexiglass up, whatever you got to do.
I was in Ohio 2 weeks ago. I walked around with no mask on. The comedy clubs opened up. He was actually the only one allowed to open up in Ohio at the Funny Stuff, and he put the table 6 feet apart, even though the crowd wasn't as big as it normally is. People started coming in. It was the crowds could have been a little better. It was light, but he did it, and that's what you got. And this is even more. Yeah, go ahead.
No, the thing that people have to realize, if they're going to open up, then that's great. 6 feet apart, plexiglass, no reason why you can't open.
Yeah.
The people have to realize they can't just order 2 salads and sit there for 4 hours. The people they have to have limits on the amount of time you can sit there. It's like the old Lucille Ball, no eat, no seat, because they have to maximize the seating in order to make the money that they need to make.
Yeah, and this is an even disturbing thing.
Can't afford to don't go out, because that seat needs to be held by somebody that can afford to go out, that can afford the tip and take care of the waitress,
right,
and the waiters.
Well, yeah, that's definite. What I've been reading too.
Stay home if you're not going to tip 25%.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's even worse, John. What I've been reading, that landlords now are starting to sue their governments or the state because of them enforcing that they can use their security deposit to pay rent, or they can get abatements. Right. Now, what kind of a scumbag landlord are you to do that? Listen, once again, I understand that everybody's got bills to pay, but if you don't charge, if you say, all right, listen, I'll cut you a slack on the rent, whoever's putting pressure on you, you have to turn around to them and say, hey, you got to cut me some slack. So I don't understand, unless it's just pure greed that they're assholes and they don't care.
Well, you know what happens when these kind of economic turmoils happen? What happens is a restaurant, now it can't happen all at once, because when it happens all at once, you have a collapse like you had in 08 with the housing crisis.
Right.
If a restaurant goes out of business, they sometimes can make more money by selling it to somebody else. They buy pennies on the dollar, and they make a fortune. It's just like the poor people that lost their homes in Katrina. They took pennies on the dollar from the insurance companies. They took the money, rolled it over, and sold it to these billion-dollar developers that built these big, beautiful things on places where people may have had just a small home. So anytime you have that kind of destruction, it allows for people with money to come in and buy on the cheap, screw the people that were there, and then restart it.
Yeah, I don't even watch the news anymore because it's too depressing. You know what I do, John? I watch it for a few minutes. I get the bullet points and I'm out, because I got friends that are sitting in front of the TV 24/7. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm watching.
We are a more legitimate news radio.
Yeah, I'm watching the Gilligan's Island, anything uplifting or funny.
I'm gonna try to get back in on the Zoom.
All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna try. If not, I'll call you back.
All right, bye. And that's the beauty of technology, folks. Don't you just love it?
Yeah, it's a first for everything.
What is the name of? Is it the John Santo show? Or?
It's the radio.
Oh,
John
radio.
Santo's The Radio.
The radio. Whoa, look at that. There he goes.
It's a play.
I think we're back. I think I'm back.
Look at that, huh? And handsomer than ever.
Oh, thank you. I have explicit instructions to Cablevision that in the event of a service problem, my house doesn't get affected.
Right.
Because I have to be on the radio. I got to do these things that they can shut down, non-essential things but this is essential. This is entertainment and production. So
if I were you, I'd get your phone and send Cablevision a big photo of your middle finger.
Well, I can't give too big because it might become a sponsor. I don't know. But So I know you don't follow baseball that closely, but Mike Francesa is here to talk about the MLB season.
Ooh, okay.
Hi, Carlo. Hi, John. The negotiations for MLB. I just got word that this is the plan. Are you ready? It's going to be a short season, Carlo. And what they're going to do is they're going to play, by the time they're done negotiating, the pay and all of the money for the players, they're going to play 10 games in December. It's going to be snowball baseball. That is the plan. 10 games over 12 days or 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, 14 days, 10 games. In December. In December. That's the plan.
That's a horrible plan, Mike.
Horrible plan. By the time they're done negotiating, this is going to be the only thing that's left.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you, how bad did you want to smack Mad Dog when he started screaming?
Oh, he screams too much. I mean, I scream too, but he screams a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
So, Carlo, you have had some of the top people in the entertainment business that you're friends with. Who do you think what is your favorite movie from the 80s?
Oh, that's one of my favorite questions. It's so, oh boy.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
how about top five? How about
top five? All right. So you have number one would have to be Animal House because I still love Belushi.
Okay.
Animal House. And this is going to sound so weird. I don't know if it was from the 80s, but it was a movie with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier called Let's Do It Again.
Okay.
It's a funny movie. You never watched it, you got to watch it. They made 2 movies like that. They were buddy movies. Let's Do It Again and Uptown Saturday Night. They're hysterical movies.
I'll check them out. Uptown Saturday Night. What was the first one?
Let's Do It Again.
Let's Do It Again.
And Uptown Saturday. Funny.
So,
Let's Do It Again is where Biggie Smalls, the rapper, got his name from because that was the name of one of the gangsters in the movie, Biggie Smalls.
Oh, wow.
So, and then there was another guy, John Amos, who played in Coming to America, played the Cleo McDowell. His name in the movie was Kansas City Mac, and I just got a kick out of those characters. It's just hysterical. Jimmy Walker is a boxer.
Oh, wow. Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, J.J. Walker. It's hysterical. They hypnotize him to win the fight, and then they you got to watch it. It's funny.
Not to be personal, but I'm going to guess he was in the featherweight.
He was a featherweight, all right. He was the worst boxer, but they hypnotized him, and then they bet on him to win the fight because they were trying to raise money for this local charity. Like they were in a, what do you call those things? The Howard Cunningham used to wear them on his head. The fez, like a Shriners.
Oh, yeah, the Shriners. Yeah.
So they were part of this group that they needed money. So what they did was they went to him. They hypnotized him that he was a super champ, that he would knock out the other guy, and they put all kinds of money on him to win, and then they won, and then they go to do it again, and then the gangsters figure it out, and they said, "Well, now you got to work for us," and you got to watch it to see. It's hysterical.
I'll check it out. Hold on a second, Carlo. Sylvester, do you want to talk to Carlo? Oh, Sylvester Stallone is here, and he'd like to ask you a couple questions.
One of my favorites of all time.
Hey, Carlo, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's with this other movie? You don't like the Rocky movies?
I love the Rocky movies.
Well, why are you talking about this other boxing movie if everybody loves the Rocky movies?
Believe me, that other movie was not a boxing movie. And Rocky was one of my favorite dramas, but from the 80s, the comedies tend to stand out for me. But it's nothing against your stuff. So.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, I was kind of funny in 3. I said to Apollo, what favor?
Yeah,
but no, that wasn't that fun.
What was the deal with Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? Were you like on drugs when you did that movie?
Yeah, sometimes in order to get some movies, you got to do the other ones.
Okay, all right.
They make you do them. Like, why did I do Judge Dredd? They make you do them.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Animal House, Caddyshack. Obviously.
Oh, you're kidding. Of course, Caddyshack. Caddyshack's the best. Hey, Wang, it's a parking lot, Wang.
Like, movies, Weird Science, The Breakfast Club has got to be up there. Last American Virgin, all those types. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Along, those are all, that's what I've been watching on TV because I refuse to hear about, listen, I totally get what's going on, and that guy should have never died and all that. But I just can't. It doesn't need to be on 24 hours a day.
Well, when I go to a pro shop, golf pro shop, my wife won't even go near the pro shop with me because she knows what's coming. I'm like, hey, all right, let me get a box of those Vulcan D10s. Give me 2 of those, a box of those Naked Lady tees. Let me tell you. All right, give me a couple of those, 3 of those. I can't help myself, I went to Cape Canaveral last year with down there, and I'm like, all right, gift shop time. All right, give me a couple of those space shuttle models, couple of space pens. Give me 2 of those, 3 of those. I can't help myself.
Oh, she knows you're going to do it, so she don't want to go in, right?
She doesn't want to be anywhere near me. I can't help myself. It's a disease. I'm a sick man.
Shakespeare on me.
Hey, Shakespeare's on me.
Yeah.
Carlo, I might go back to school for a second master's degree. And if I do, I'm going to do my Dangerfield impression the whole time I'm there.
Oh, for the
I'm going to have fun this time.
Dr. Barbet.
Dr. Barbet. He really tells it like it ain't.
You don't know Dick.
That was the business teacher.
Yeah.
You ready for this one, Carlo?
I wasn't speaking to you, Mr. Mellon.
Mr. Mellon, mafia payoffs and political kickbacks. Maybe the way you do business. That was the best. Mafia.
He actually lives in Montclair, New Jersey, Paxton Whitehead.
Who?
The
that guy?
He lives in Montclair.
Where?
Yeah.
I just did a show. When did I do a show down there?
And you didn't run into him?
Well,
Montclair.
I'm going to try to find him now.
Yeah, he's...
hey, Dr. Barbet.
That's...
I dedicate this building to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's so fun.
Oh, gee whiz, Phil. I just asked him if he said he did, and he said no. I'm outraged.
It was a very large check.
Yeah. See,
Thanks,
that's what
Mom.
John, they're never going to make movies like that again. I don't care what
never.
you see. Even TV today. The only thing I really enjoyed over the past few years, and I thought the writing was brilliant because I'm sort of a geek, is The Big Bang Theory. Oh yeah. My God. It's brilliant. It's hysterical.
Can I tell you one line that I like from that show? Because my kids love that show. We saw it. I was watching it with them one time. You ready for this line?
Yeah.
He goes into the comic book store and he goes, I'm looking for a gift for a friend of mine. He goes, do you have anything as a gift for a friend that's that's depressed? He goes, literally everything in the store. He's a bit of a loner. He's depressed. Yeah, literally everything in the store.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. That's why the writing was so brilliant. A lot of the geek humor, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people were like that with MASH. I thought MASH was hysterical.
Oh, brilliantly written.
When he goes,
brilliant.
One of my favorite lines was Hawkeye goes, did you hear about the new MacArthur doll? You wind him up and he returns from anywhere.
It's amazing how all these years later, those sunglasses, those Ray-Ban gold frame teardrop aviators with the green lens, very popular even today.
But if I had to pick out one standout TV show from the 80s, Miami Vice, hands down.
Oh, I'm a big Miami Vice guy.
You have no idea. Actually, Michael Talbot is a good friend of mine. He's been on the show a couple of times. They played Switek.
Yeah. He never got to go on the luxurious cars. He was always in a van underneath the pier. The bug van. When I first went to Miami, I flew into Fort Lauderdale, and I rented a car.
What's with all the trips to Florida? You Jewish?
No, this was '93. This is way back. First trip to Florida was '93. I get in the car, and as soon as we drove down to Miami for dinner from Fort Lauderdale. As soon as I see Miami, I throw the CD in the player. Whoosh, Miami Vice soundtrack, baby.
Oh,
right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
It would have been better if it was a cassette.
You know what? I might be honestly. Because it's so long ago. I might be remembering it wrong. It might have been a cassette. I don't remember. Yeah. That's an interesting point. I don't remember, but I do know I had it on there, and I still have my cotton blazer.
Oh, still have it for a brief period of time. Because that was at the time when I was going to clubs. I dressed like that. I don't care. I used to love dressing like that.
Well, what do you think of my idea? I actually have a Miami Vice idea. You ready for this?
Yes.
Instead of Don Johnson, it's Don Trump. I'm wearing my Trump wig and a Ferrari Testarossa with my cotton blazer, and we're trying to find, but he plays Crockett.
That's funny.
That's funny. What did you see the Miami Vice movie, the 2006, I think it came out movie?
It was all right.
It was all right, but the music and the cinematography was true to the television show, I thought.
Yeah. That's what the music made that show, and the
show.
Just the way they did it, and the whole escapism of the drug dealers and the and the characters. I can't that's why I'm not on the. I can't stand reboot TV. The only thing I really watch is MacGyver. They redid it on Channel 2. I had the girl that was on, Tristan May. She's one of the main characters of the show. But you mean to tell me that they don't have writers in Hollywood that can come up with fresh ideas, that they got to keep rebooting stuff? You
were talking about that with Donna Mills the other night.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Did we really need a reboot of Magnum PI?
Yeah, and it wasn't even that good. I didn't like it.
It's all right. Hawaii Five-0 was okay. I hung in with it for a couple of years, but then,
I was a big original 5-0 fan, big fan of original 5-0.
Oh yeah, you hear this? They're gonna redo Scarface, right? And Leonardo DiCaprio is gonna play Tony Montana. That's it. That's where I draw the line. That's gonna be the worst thing you've ever seen on TV in the movie.
Christ. You're kidding me, right? Please tell me you're kidding me.
They're in talks to do that, because Angel was telling me, because he was part of the original movie, Angel Salazar.
Yeah, sure.
So
the Miami Vice, though, the way they integrated the music into it, like one of my friends, he goes, he's a Miami Vice fan, so I have the soundtrack on my phone from the movie and the TV show. So he's like, he was arguing with me that there wasn't two versions of the opening theme. In the pilot episode, there's an extended version of the original theme. It was slightly different, and like on the TV show, it started with that thing. That sound doesn't come in until about halfway through the song on the pilot episode. And he didn't believe me, and I played him both versions. He's like, "Holy shit, your Vice." I said, "I'm the real deal." I said, "You probably have heard Crockett's theme. I've got all different versions of Crockett's theme on my phone."
Right.
I don't mess around. That soundtrack is my favorite.
Well, I'm going to test your chin now. How, on a scale from 1 to 10, how big a fan of Miami Vice are you?
I would say Miami Vice 8-9. Easily.
Okay. What was the name of Dennis Farina's character? He was in 4 episodes.
He wasn't Calderon, the big dealer, right? He wasn't the Colombian guy.
No.
I'm not going to look it up. Michael Richards, not to change the subject, Michael Richards was on the show as a drug dealer.
Oh,
Kramer. Yeah. He was on an episode where he was trying to extort the judge. Yes. That was with another drug dealer, though, not Calderon. Calderon was the big arch nemesis guy.
He was my favorite of all. Calderon.
Oh, Calderon.
Francisco
Yeah,
Calderon. Yeah.
Calderon. That was.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing in the Ferrari with in the air tonight, that hooked me to watch the rest of the season.
But that was the first time that they integrated the music as part of the storyline itself.
Right, and it was original music. It wasn't,
Yes. And it wasn't background, it was foreground. They didn't talk during the music.
Right.
It was the show. That's why it's so brilliant. You're going to have to tell me the Dennis Farina. I'm not going to look it up.
He played a character called Al Lombard. I'll tell you what. I'll let you study for a week, and you give me an exam, and I guarantee you can't stump me on Miami Vice.
Well, I'll tell you something that nobody's been able to stump me on. You ready?
What's that?
Top Gun.
Ooh, okay.
I know every line in that movie. Anybody wants to stump me? You want to ask me anything about Top Gun? Ask him in the comment. Oh, geez, I'm not even following the show. Ask him in the comments.
I'll tell you what.
And I didn't lower my own radio. How many times do we tell people, lower the radio?
Lower the radio.
Did I lower mine? Nope.
That's funny.
Yeah, Top Gun, I'm the king of Top Gun.
Top Gun, I can hold my own with, I think.
All right.
I can get you.
Well, since you asked me a question, I would like to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What was Goose's name? Goose was his call sign. What was his real name?
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
you got me at it.
He came to play.
Wow.
He's playing now. Bam.
Yeah. They don't. Do they tell you?
Sure. I can tell you right now.
No, wait. Do they mention it in the movie though?
You see it a couple of times. One, the name is on the side of the plane, the F-14. The other time you see it is on when they take his dog tags and his wings are there. You see Lieutenant J.G. Nick Bradshaw.
Wow, Wow, you got me on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
see, now I got to get you now.
What was? Oh, you can ask me now.
No, go ahead. Ask me another one. Go ahead.
Another Top Gun question?
Yeah.
What was Viper's aircraft carrier and squadron in Vietnam? These are tough. You know what? That's not fair. I'm not. That's not a fair question. He says it in. Remember when Maverick comes to his house?
Yeah.
By the way, I went to that house when I was in San Diego. I did the whole Top Gun tour. I went to Viper's house. It's in Point Loma. It's the Lighthouse Keeper's house, Point Loma. It's a joint Naval Air Station National Park. He said, "I flew with your old man, VF-41, the Oriskany."
Wow.
Yeah.
It just shows you paying attention works. See, I know a lot of stupid shit like that, but not.
Wait, I may have given the audience bad information. I don't think it was VF-41, the Oriskany. Viper's squadron.
Here's a little trivia for you. You ready for this?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The movie Die Hard.
Yep.
Bruce Willis wasn't the original choice for that movie. Frank Sinatra was originally slated to play John McClane, but then the studio felt he was too old, and then they brought in Bruce Willis.
It should have been. Schwarzenegger.
He was in everything back then, though.
Yes, he. I think you could have him in a Jaws remake. Smile, you son of a bitch! Mm-hmm. Like he could be in all of the movies. Like he's like perfect.
Wow.
You know, he could have shut the fan, but he would have been good in Die Hard. Okay, what the hell do you think I'm doing? Ordering a pizza? This is an emergency. They're shooting up the Nakatomi Tower in California.
All right. Here's one for you. Miami Vice second season premiere episode. It was called The Prodigal Son, where they go to New York to fight the Colombian drug, the Revillas. Okay.
Yes, they had a special New York Vice theme. Yes.
Yeah, they're in New York in this big corporate office. They find out that there's this big like Wall Street guy backing these drug dealers.
Yes.
And this guy knows everything. So when he comes in, he knows they're cops. He goes through.
He knows all about them.
He goes, Ricardo Tubbs. Dade County Federal. How much money did Tubbs have in the bank that he told him?
Yep, $500 and something in a checking account.
Yeah, it was close. $473.
$473? I was in the ballpark. Now that guy wasn't he the weird guy in Poltergeist?
Yeah, he was the preacher.
The preacher. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, a little unfair. I sound like a genius that I knew the amount in the checking account. It was pretty close. But that episode has been on rerun. I just saw it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, the second season, that episode.
And they had a special New York Vice theme for that New York series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had it. It's called. I have it on my phone on the soundtrack. Well, I tell you something. We really know our movie stuff. I could see people in the audience right now. I can't see them really, but they're like, "Oh my god, these two guys." They're geniuses.
We got to do some where they try to stump us.
We should.
Anything from the 80s.
Anything from the 80s. In fact, I had a great co-host, Danielle, was on the show. That I could not believe how good she knew. So people that like us that are really into the 80s and stuff, anal and know this stuff. I think that would be cool to try and stump us on the thing. I didn't ask you a fair question. The Viper one is not fair. That's too hard. It's a very all right. So let's do this. What did the commanding officer, the bald guy, or is it Follically challenged in the beginning when he goes, if you screw up this much, you'll be flying a cargo plane full of what?
Horse manure.
Rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong.
Rubber dogs. That's the guy that played. His name is James Tolkien, and he played in a lot of movies.
Back to the few. No McFly has ever amounted to anything. Yes. He played the ultimate hard ass. Oh, no. Am I down again? If we're down, we'll just end the show. Odyssey Houston, do you read?
No, I hear you now.
Oh, you got it. If we go down again, I got to end the show because by the time I reboot, show will be over anyway.
John, your internet connection is going down more than a Filipino hooker.
It's the worst. It's the worst service. They're horrible. Total disaster. It's probably run by the Democrats. It is so bad. It's so bad, the internet service. And we pay a lot of money, and I'm going to fix it with Trump Internet. Okay? No more total disaster. We're going to make the internet great again. Okay?
That's
great
funny.
again.
That's funny. I gotta... Top Gun, I knew a lot, but not... You're like... Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty up there with the Top Gun. I'm doing a video very soon with... so Bernie Sanders is the commanding officer. You want the top 1% of 1% of 1% of all the naval pilots, you know? And then I do one with... I'm going to do Mario Cuomo as Iceman and Donald Trump as Maverick.
Oh, that's too funny.
So I'm going to do Cuomo saying, I was in a dogfight with 6 MiGs. I told them to launch the alert fighters. I need federal assistance.
You mean Andrew, not Mario. Mario's dead.
Did I say Mario?
Yes.
I meant Andrew Cuomo.
Okay. Well, you could do
Andrew
Mario. He's reincarnated.
He's reincarnated. No, I'll do Andrew Cuomo as Iceman. And I don't know why we only launched 2 fighters. That's a question for the Air Force, not me. I don't know. All I know is they shot down Hollywood, and I had to fight 6 MiGs.
Okay. In the movie The Breakfast Club, when they're showing the opening, they're showing the opening credits. They pan to the principal's desk, and his name tag is on the desk. What does it say?
Oh, this has come up too. We don't have time. You got to tell me. I only got 3 minutes left.
Richard Hashimoto.
Oh,
he was actually
that was a great picture.
Oh, that's without a doubt.
Great
You got to
picture.
see the making of that.
16 Candles, another classic, 80s classic.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, 16 Candles, the best. What was the other one that was big then?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
Last American Virgin.
Iron Eagle. Did you ever see Iron Eagle?
Love it. You'll never stump me on that. Never.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Where did they take out Chappie Sinclair?
His plane went down in the Med, and he caught a ride with an Egyptian trawler, and
You're awesome.
They sent out a Mayday to Helicon Air Force Base in Greece. He only had 600 pounds of fuel left.
Oh, shit. You shit. He goes with the father's in the jet with him, and he goes, "Where's your air support? I only came in with Chappie Sinclair, but they took him out at El Kareem."
El Kareem, that's it.
El Kareem, and he went down over the Med and got picked up by an Egyptian trawler.
How much did he threaten that he's going to lose to the... He said, how much did he threaten them they're going to lose money-wise in oil? You don't want to don't want to move my dad? Well, here's
they just lost $100 billion in oil.
100 million in oil, yeah.
Let's see how they feel about losing $100 million in oil. Then he goes, Chappie, they're going to be importing oil this year. That pilot is a dead man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the name of that guy? The bad Libyan guy?
Nandakash. Colonel Akhnir Nandakash, and he was also the terrorist in Executive Decision.
Yes. It was Colonel Nakir Nakesh.
Yeah, he's his name is David Duché. He also played Hercule Poirot in the mystery movies. Yeah.
I'll never forget the line he said when they took off. When he goes, Doug, just take off. We'll fight in the air. And he goes, Light Commander, this is Colonel Nakesh. Respond immediately.
Who was the guy? The pilot that he said, who is your most heavily armed pilot?
That's what I was going to ask you. Major Giraldi, sir. Fully loaded. Have him land on this field at once.
No, we got too much fucking time on our hands.
Oh, we do. I'm going to have you back. Can you come back in a week or 2?
Yeah, just let me know, dude.
We got to have you back because you are fantastic. Very few people know these things. A lot of times I have somebody on, I'm like, do you remember? I'm like, you didn't even know like the switch that the guy pressed. Which is good because I didn't realize you were as good with the movies, Carlo.
Oh, I'm one that looks for bloopers and stuff and everything. That's one of my hobbies too. Like I'll look for bloopers on movies.
When I have you back, we're going to talk about all the bloopers in Top Gun. There's many bloopers in Top Gun.
Oh boy. All
A lot of
right,
bloopers.
sounds good. If I'm not dead, I'm here.
Bobby, are we up? What are we up on at the time there?
You are up, sir.
We're up.
You're up
Carlo,
and over.
That's it. We're finished. It's tremendous.
I gotta call Cablevision as Tony Soprano and say, "You sons of bitches! I only get a freaking hour a week to do this, and I lost 15 minutes in a freaking blackout."
I'm telling you, want to be prorated on your bill for 15 minutes.
Communications. Well, it's not me. It's the audience was denied this fantastic show, which is #1 in its time slot on this channel on this day. I mean, but it's like it figures like of all the times they're gonna have an outage, they can't do it at 2 a.m. They got to do it there on my show.
Oh wow.
You know? But this was Carlo, even with the abbreviated, internet blackout that we had. This was.
I had a blast.
Phenomenal.
I always have fun.
I had a blast. Oh, what a show!
Let me know. We'll do something fun. Like I would love to.
Next time we're going to have you in for the full hour. Hopefully, very soon I'll be back in the studio. So the studio is like a fortress. Nothing can stop the studio. It's the best. It's got the best microphones. It has everything. It's fantastic.
Well, just a reminder, like I told you real quick, I did the network. If anybody wants to send me their music, it's Animal House Radio Network at Gmail. Here's my thing. Share our station with your friends and we'll share your music to the world. So
that's awesome. And Carlo, thank you so much. Carlo Bellario, he is absolutely one of the top entertainers.
Oh, I'm a shit heel. You know that.
Radio.
But anyway, we're going to go head to head next time. We're going head to head.
We're going to go head to head. I got to figure out a way, and Carlo, if you have any suggestions, just message me. A real cool way of it. Maybe we'll have the questions in advance or something. But I think this is a lot of fun with the 80s movie or trivia, TV show trivia.
I know what we're going to do. We'll each pick 3 movies. We won't know what they are. And then we're going to base our questions off of those 3 movies.
Perfect. I love it. It's a fantastic idea. We should call it The Apprentice.
Oh boy.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the radio. I should play the radio maybe at the call. I don't have it up anymore. I lost my internet. I should maybe close with the radio. But thank you so much for listening in to the radio. Thank you again to Strong Island Radio for having us on the air. My producer Bobby, my special guest co-host, the great Carlo Bellario, who we're going to have back on very soon because already the ratings are coming in. They're off the charts. They love Carlo Bellario. They love him. Thank you
Carlo. So much, buddy. It was good seeing you.
Good night, everybody. We're clear. Wait, Bobby tells us.